Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Indie Diarist podcast, a show on the human stories behind indie game development. Speaking to you today is your loyal Indie Diarist and host, Anthony L. Wolf, and I'm not going to steal too much time from you because this is a good one with Lente tuning in straight from the Netherlands, a very talented indie game developer. So, there's just a little announcement that I want to make, and you may have heard this if you've listened to the previous episodes, but as of early August, so about 3 weeks ago, the Patreon and Coffee pages for the Indie Diarist are now live, and this is now officially the best way to support the show if you're a fan of what I do and the people that I speak to. So, if you haven't had a chance to check out those pages yet, please go to theindiediarist.com or go to patreon.com/theindiediarist. And actually, I recommend you check it out right now because for the first month until the 4th of September, I'm running a special promotion of 50% off all tiers, and you can subscribe from as little as $1.25 per month. But without further ado, let's go into the episode now with Lente, tuning in straight from the Netherlands. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Indie Diarist podcast, a show on the human stories behind indie game development, as you guys should know by now. So, speaking to you is your loyal host and Indie Diarist, Anthony L. Wolf, writer, narrative designer, and senior content manager for social media. And today I'm joined by someone who's tuning in from the Netherlands, and her name is Lente, and I hope that's the right way to say it.
Lente.
Lente, perfect. So I'll hand it over to you, Lente. Just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you're based. Most importantly, where do you live? Because I know I can see it, but
Yes.
Yeah.
I live on a boat, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make games. About like half a year ago, I quit school because school is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to start my own little business, if you want to call it that, but more so just making games. Yeah, been working on a game where you clean up oil spills with a little boat, and it's been going pretty well. Got a little following and stuff, so that's good.
Yeah, and the game is called Spilled, and I did try out the demo just before this episode, and I can testify it's a delightful little arcade. So I will put a link to wishlist it in the description of the episode, and I will be looking forward to the next build very soon because it is exactly. So here's a question that I like to ask everybody on this show as an icebreaker: what is a game that you think everybody should play at least once?
Oh, it's gonna be a boring answer like Minecraft.
Oh no, that's not boring at all. I think you're the first person to say it on this show, so yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
Let me think properly. Minecraft, of course. I really liked Half-Life 2.
Oh, Half-Life 2, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. I bought long ago a GPD Win.
Mm-hmm.
It's like before the Switch and stuff, like a little computer, a handheld computer, which was way too expensive. I only used it once. I used it to play Half-Life 2. But that was a good experience, so yeah.
Nice, yeah. No, but Half-Life 2 is just an amazing game. I remember it. I only played it, I think I played it only twice. But yeah, I do remember it very fondly. And of course, Minecraft. I spent so many hours on Minecraft years ago. So yeah, it's just...
My whole youth.
Just so
How old
fun.
are you?
I'm 27. Yeah, 27. About to turn 28. So yeah.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah.
But...
Right. So, well, one thing that I will say is that anyone listening to this episode, in my opinion, should subscribe to your newsletter because I think it's just lovely. And one of the
That's
emails
nice.
that I received, and you can find it on lente.me, I think it is. But one of the emails I received this week was about your personal story. And it was so great to read everything about you and how you started, and as you mentioned, the fact that you dropped out of school and just because you wanted to do your own thing, and school wasn't really working for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was wondering.
To elaborate on this, I'm lucky to be able to do this because
Mm-hmm.
I live pretty cheaply, living on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not huge, but I don't need much space,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care much about like material items and stuff. So that gives me the freedom financially and with time to do what I want. And
Yeah,
that's nice.
and actually, before I go into my next little question, I'm curious to hear about that boat thing. Like, I know you grew up on a boat. And you bought a boat just recently, and you're just renovating it to make it perfect, make it a nice living space.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what's it like to live on a boat? Because of course I've never done that, and to be honest, I can't even swim. So to me, the idea is terrifying. But yeah.
Um, the experience is immediately different from a house because you feel, how do you say it, like less inside, like
Mm-hmm.
less, I don't know, you're more outside a
Mm,
little bit, that feeling, but still very comfy, very like safe inside, of course, but um it's more like camping in
mm-hmm.
some ways, but like uh better.
I think what must be exciting once you have that boat done and ready and all of that is that you can just literally move around the river and just go wherever you want.
Yeah, and I have all the modern luxuries. I have a PC here, two monitors, I have
Yeah,
speakers, I have a TV, I have heating, I have everything. So
perfect.
I
Yeah.
don't have a shower, but I
Oh yeah,
could
that's
make one if I wanted
you're
to.
working on
Yeah,
one though, so yeah, that's
yeah,
as far
yeah,
as I know. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Well, then onto your games actually, and the kind of games that you liked playing and all of that. What games do you remember playing growing up, and do you think they're having an influence on Spilled, the games you're doing now?
Interesting. Mm, I've always been playing like multiplayer games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, Minecraft, of course.
Yeah.
Um, I started out with like my parents had a really old laptop on our ship. So I played like CD-ROM games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Remember
remember
those?
which ones. I think one was like about Nemo, the movie, or something. Just
Oh, that's pretty
I don't
famous
know.
actually. I haven't played
Yeah,
it, but
yeah, good.
there's a Nemo game that's pretty famous on CD-ROM for
All
PC.
right.
I
Probably
think
was
I've seen it.
this.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was about, but oh, and Flash games, of course.
Flash
Like,
games.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember whenever we back on the old ship, we had a generator on land for power
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't have the connection, or at least for some time we didn't. So whenever it was on for my parents to like do laundry or whatever, my
Mm-hmm.
brother and I would play on the laptop
Mm-hmm.
whenever we got the chance and play like Flash games online.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And, that was good.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. And I remember the era of Flash games online and all of that. And I must say, I do see a little bit of that in Spilled because it's a very arcade game. It feels like something that you can pick up and go and have some fun with it and just
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I do like simpler games, like
Hmm.
arcadey games, I guess. I'm a horrible gamer myself these days. I don't game much at all, but yeah.
Well, you may see yourself as a horrible gamer, but I think in terms of game design and game development, you did quite a lot, and it does show in Spilled and the kind of the art style and the gameplay and all of that. It is very fleshed out. Even the demo that I played, so I'm sure it's going to be an
That's
interesting
nice.
one.
I don't know. I'm very hard on myself. I think the demo is pretty buggy and stuff, but yeah, that's nice of
I mean,
you.
it's a demo. People will understand that. But
Yes.
also,
Yes.
I think it's very common among creative people and people who actually make stuff to be very hard on ourselves. Like as a writer, I know that. I know I'm very
Mm.
rarely proud of the kind of stuff that I write, but a lot of people tell me it's good. It just I don't see that necessarily. So it helps us
It's tough.
improve.
It's tough. For me,
So
it's
yeah.
also a lot with like time I put in to
Hmm.
it, like how many hours I work. I'm also very hard on myself, which is
All right. Mm-hmm.
really hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
I don't
yeah.
know. Trying to,
So
yeah.
you mentioned that you spent your childhood playing Flash games on your laptop, and of course a lot of Minecraft
Like
later on,
early. Yeah.
early, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, when did you realize that you wanted to make those games? Was there like a very specific moment?
Not necessarily. I've always been interested in like computers and how they work, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just very nerdy type. I find it very interesting. Um, sorry. Just need a little break.
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
Um, I think it was 2015, 2016 that I
Hmm.
started out with like Python,
Right.
making like very simple games. Like I would make a clicker game in Python. where you have to press like enter,
Yeah.
and then you get a point, and then you can type upgrades, and then it would upgrade. And from there it went to like HTML and JavaScript, and then eventually Unity one time on holiday, and that's where it started really.
Nice, pretty cool. And
Yeah.
was the clicker game the first one that you ever developed? Or like, do you have memories of that first game? Because that's usually very special for a lot of people.
Um, I think I kept pretty good track. I had a folder where I
Mm-hmm.
would put in like every project, like one dash project
Nice.
name,
Yeah,
date, blah blah blah.
very organized. Love
So yeah,
that.
yeah, I try to be. It doesn't always work, but yeah,
Oh yeah, well, do what we can. But
yeah.
yeah, right. And I guess a bit more of a deeper question related to game development, which is why are you really a game developer? Is there anything that drives you forward?
Oh God, I think about this a lot, and I think about the future a lot. Like, do I want to continue this way? Is this the
Mm-hmm.
right thing? But for now it is, and it just allows me to be very creative. I think that's it.
That's great.
Allows me to be creative, and it's very much my interest with like computers and being nerdy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's
I know. I
so.
like I like making things. It's hard to explain, but I also like the idea of a game where you make something that's like interactive.
Mhm.
I
So
think
like
it's
that
fun to
kind
code
of,
stuff,
yeah.
and yeah,
It is a very creative process, isn't it? Like just coding stuff, seeing it come on screen, and then the idea that someone is going to play it, and all of that comes together. I can relate with that one. It's a
it's cool.
great little feeling. Yeah. Um.
And I'm pretty interested in the business side as well, or
Mhm.
just business in general. And this kind of just turned out to be um, my thing when it comes to that. Like I'm this is what I've been doing for quite some
Mhm.
time. This is what I'm somewhat good at, I
Yeah.
guess. So
And
yeah,
also,
naturally that's what I went
how's
into, I
that side
guess.
going? Like the business side, looking into looking after your own business and such.
Uh, a good, I think. I don't have like an official business or anything, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I try to apply stuff like email marketing. I find very interesting. Social media,
Mhm.
posting on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all those things. Just very slowly learning, just by
Yeah.
doing, just trying stuff out, what works, what doesn't, trying new things, new ways to present a post on Twitter, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's say, as someone who works in social media, that's very true, and in marketing in general, it's often about throwing something at the wall and seeing if it sticks. So if it does, then you've got something on your hands,
I
and
think so
so it's a
too.
lot of experimentation and all of that. But yeah, sounds like you're headed in the right direction there. And is there anything you hate about being an independent developer?
Um, I guess when I'm stuck on like a bug, something that like engine related,
Mm-hmm.
maybe something that's like very deep in the engine that I don't understand. That stuff is really annoying.
Yeah.
Um, Solo, I don't know. It's a first for me, so I'm figuring stuff out. I'm using like other people's assets, editing them a little where necessary. I'll have to figure out. Maybe like music is gonna be a bit of a bottleneck.
Mm-hmm.
That I have to hire someone for this, and art for the Steam page, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. Well, it can be hard. Yeah, I totally understand
I
that.
I
So.
think I do prefer it. Like I've always been pretty um to myself, and like keeping my own things
Mm-hmm.
myself and not wanting other people to touch it. I'm
Yeah.
very hard in like teamwork stuff in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, it's great. I mean, I'd say it sounds to me like you love the independence of being an independent developer, which is in the term itself.
Indie,
So
indie, indie.
indie. So yeah,
It's in the
exactly.
podcast name.
Yeah, exactly. Indie diarist as well. So yeah, and so I find Spilled itself very fascinating, and as someone who cares a lot about those themes, I think it does send a very important message through gameplay. Alone. And what was the original idea behind Spilled? And do you remember how it came to be. And of course, it's about a boat, so well that already ticks. But
Yeah, I was working on a project for school. It was Breda University of Applied Sciences, like their game development course. It's a
hmm
pretty well-known one, like one of the best ones in the Netherlands, I think. Um, we what was it again? Working with C++ and OpenGL.
hmm
And oh yeah, we had to make it run on a Raspberry Pi.
hmm all right.
And um, I'd seen this video on YouTube by I think Tesolator of
hmm
this like low what do you say, low pixel 3D, how do you say it? Pixel
Look.
art,
Oh yeah,
3D
pixel
pixel
art.
art. Yeah. And it brought me an idea, like what if I make that for my game with OpenGL, and then it will have like a very low resolution, so ultimately being faster to run on the
hmm
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
So I started on this, and I made a boat, of course, because I
Yeah,
always
of course.
start out with boats. We had to make an RTS. What does it stand for? Real time,
It,
RTS?
I'm not.
Like a game genre?
Oh, real time strategy. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
hmm
I had to make this, which I'm not familiar with at all, but I thought I would make like a fleet of boats and then go from there.
uh-huh. Right.
Um, so this anyway, then I quit school, I switched to Unity, and I did have this idea in mind of the low pic of the how do you say the 3D pixel art. I thought that would
hmm
be cool to show on Twitter as well. I thought like, oh, this people are gonna think this is cool.
Yeah.
So I just made kind of the similar game. I just made a boat you can move around with the water and the refraction in the water.
hmm
Posted that, people liked it. And then, like a few weeks, I started brainstorming really hard and stressing out, like, okay, I actually have to make a game now. What is it gonna
Yeah.
be? And that was a tough period because I just quit school. I felt
Yeah,
really
of course.
unproductive and
hmm
like, oh shit, this is scary.
Pressured as well, of course. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know how I got the idea. Um, no, it just popped up
It just
somewhere,
popped
and then
up.
I thought
Yeah.
like, oh
Okay.
wow, that's good, that's fun.
Okay.
That's like something I'm passionate about, and that's something other people will like as
It's
well,
good. Yeah.
probably. It's relevant.
hmm
So yeah.
And I think what Spilled teaches and what Spilled shows is that the stories and games that feel more personal are the ones that have most resonance, because your Twitter profile is pretty popular. You're past 7,000 followers at the time of recording this, I think. By the time this episode comes out, you'll probably have reached over 8,000 and maybe even 9,000, who knows. But
Who
but
knows?
but like
I
the
don't
fact.
know. I'm in like the polishing stage,
Mhm.
so I probably won't be posting as much. But okay, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing is that you live on a boat and you're making a game about a boat, also with environmental themes. So I think people resonate with that one very much because it feels like a personal story.
It
And
is very
so yeah,
personal, yes.
and that brings me to my next question about Spilled, which is, of course, there's a strong environmental theme in the game. Why does that theme matter to you? What is it so special about it?
I grew up in nature,
hmm
like as much as you can, like out of the town. Um, so that's a big part. I was always outside as a kid,
hmm
and I love nature. I really do love nature. I'd
Yeah.
probably just live in the old, like how do you say it? Like how people did like thousands of years ago. If I
hmm
could, just in nature, building huts and stuff.
Yeah, like the
I
old
think I would.
hunter-gatherers and such. Yeah.
That would be perfect. Yes, that would
Mhm.
be perfect for me.
Yeah, and of course, seeing
uh,
nature kind of defaced, like it's
it's
happening, is
nasty. Yeah,
yeah,
it's nasty.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is. Yeah, well, I think that's perfect answer there. Um,
Hmm.
well, I think we're near the end now, so I've got a couple more questions to wrap up, and they're going to be a bit more fun. First off, well,
Sure.
this one maybe not so much, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, you live on a boat. Of course, you've got your mom helping out when with renovations and such. But do you ever feel lonely or discouraged as an indie game developer? And if you do, how do you cope with that?
Um, well, I feel lonely in general sometimes.
Hmm.
I'm trying to meet up with friends more and stuff to combat that a little. Um, yeah, I think I really just have to take that social stuff from meeting up with friends because I'm not really going places to work. I
Hmm.
don't really have any colleagues.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful like community, like on Discord and stuff, but it's all online, so
Hmm.
it's a little different.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I just got this new MacBook. It's really nice. So I'm
All
planning to
right.
go to like cafes and stuff and work
Beautiful.
there
Yeah.
to get to be a little bit in the world, you know?
Perfect. So that means that
Yeah.
the game is going to come out on Mac as well. I hope so. Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
there
I
are a
think
lot of
so. Yeah.
gamers on Mac, but yeah, I'm one of those. Sometimes
Oh,
I
I
game
get a
on
lot
Mac.
of emails. I
Oh,
get a lot of
really?
emails
Oh,
about
that's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
And then
okay.
I have to say like unfortunately not yet, but soon, and I've been
Soon.
saying that for
Okay.
months. So, yeah.
Right. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now we get into the fun questions, and I've got just two for you. This one I love asking to everybody, which is imagine writing a letter to yourself, but 10 years younger. What would you say?
Ooh, a lot. Some very personal stuff,
All right. Yeah, we won't go into that.
but very corny, like believe in yourself,
Hmm.
and most important, you can achieve anything you want
Hmm.
if you put your mind to it
Yeah.
and work hard and put the time into it.
Perfect.
I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
like, I don't know, I would say school is not that important, but
Hmm.
like I it was very hard for me to even get through school. So
Hmm.
then I probably wouldn't even have my high school diploma if I knew this stuff.
Ah,
So
that's
maybe it's better that I do have my high school
yeah.
diploma now, because yeah, sometimes I do want to work, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're carving out your own path, which is, I think, really interesting. And what works for you now probably may have worked for you 10 years ago, but maybe not necessarily. So maybe what you are today is a result of that. And
Yeah.
lastly, if you had unlimited budget and time, what kind of game would you make?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard because I very much like building my own thing and
Hmm.
starting from, I don't want to say nothing, but like yeah, starting from something. Um, so maybe at first I would be a little disappointed because like, damn, okay, now I have everything.
Hmm.
So to say, now what? Like, what's the
Yeah,
point?
exactly. Uh-huh.
Sorry, you asked what kind of game I would make
Yeah, exactly.
or
Yeah.
like project?
Yeah, if you had an infinite amount of
Ah,
resources.
maybe something like Pokemon Go
Hmm.
on like phones, like
All
real
right.
world based, like everyone coming together. I love that about Pokemon Go back in
Hmm.
like what was it, 2016, summer
Yeah,
2016.
I think it was
It was
2016.
lovely.
Hmm.
You could go to any big city or even my smaller city, and you would see everyone outside playing, and oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
There's a Pokemon Go Fest now in London. I think it's next week or the week after that, and it's supposed to
I
be
see.
a huge event where a lot of Pokemon
Mm,
Go fans will go. Maybe there's
that's
one in
good.
the Netherlands as well. You could look into it. I'm not sure if
I
if they
haven't
do it there.
played in ages,
All right, yeah, well,
unfortunately.
then
Yeah,
maybe
I
not.
said
Then
I'm a horrible gamer, so yeah.
yeah, okay, that's fair enough. All right, well, Lente, thank you so much. It's been such an amazing chat. Just to wrap things up, where can other people find you, and if they do, how can they support you?
My website is lente.me. That's
Hmm.
LENTE.me. All my socials are on there. And you can subscribe to my newsletter there as well.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh, and I'm most active on Twitter, so
Yeah.
Lente Game Dev.
Amazing. And of course, I will put all of these links in the description, plus a link to Wishlist Build on Steam, so that people can just go
Sure.
straight to the description and find it there. So yeah, perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Lente. It's been a beautiful little chat, and yeah, lovely speaking to you. Finally, we made it after after about a month.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
well, it's been good. It was nice.
All right, and that's a wrap on another episode of the Indie Diaries podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Lente for being an amazing, lovely guest to have on the show. I really can't wait to see Spill come out, and best of luck with your future builds and also your future projects, of course. And I hope your boat turns out well. I know that's also a little side project of yours. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show. You can follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, pretty much everywhere you get your podcasts, really. And as you may have heard from the beginning of the episode, now there's a Patreon and a Coffee page live at Patreon or coffee.com/TheIndieDiarist. And if you want to go there, leave a donation or just subscribe to a tier, then absolutely, guys, that would be 100% super appreciated, and I will personally thank you for supporting the show this way. So one more thing, there's now a Discord community for the Indie Diarist, and you can join it by going to theindiediarist.com, and of course all of these links are available in my landing page right there. So lastly, if you are an indie game developer yourself, please get in touch, because I would love to tell your story to my audience who are always hungry for amazing and human stories from the indie game development scene.